Hi there, this is Kalyan Verma. In this video, I'm going to show you how alerts work in Xcelsius 2008. Alerts are kind of a mechanism within a dashboard to turn the focus to the exceptions, to the outliers, and etc. If embedded in a dashboard or presented separately, alerts can be an extra layer of decision making or extra layer of abstraction that can make a dashboard useful. And in Xcelsius 2008, many components come with built-in alert properties, and let's see some of them. It's not that all components have alert facility, built-in facility. There are only a few components which have alert facility. Let's quickly go ahead and see what are those. Charts, some of the charts, not all charts, have alert option. Some selectors, some single value, all the maps, and one of the other category component, which is a grid component that has alert property or alert facility, built-in alert facility in Xcelsius 2008. So in our example, what I'm going to show is how to set alerts in one of the selector components, which in this case is a label-based menu, one of the charts, a bar chart, and one of the single value components, that's a gauge. So let's quickly get started. Let's get rid of all the components on the canvas, and let's build our model. So before getting into the demonstration, I would like to show you the underlying spreadsheet data. I have the sales numbers for 7 products across 4 regions. I've calculated the average sales here, and I'm inserting a given product and its regional sales values along with the average value in the yellow cells. And also I have some set targets for each product. Basically in this case it's the same target for all the products across regions. And I have some threshold values which I'm going to explain when dealing with alerts. So let's quickly go ahead and build our model. Let's hide the properties for now. So the first component we need is the label-based menu, drag and drop. In our case, it's going to be a vertical orientation. And let's give it the labels of products, bind it to products, resize the component to fit our model. And I would like to insert the row with the source data of all the sales across regions, including the average sales, and inserting it in the colored cells, that's the destination cells, including the gauge value, which is the average value. Now I have my basic label-based menu set up to select a product. Let's quickly drag a column chart onto the canvas and bind the values. Let's give the title of the product, which is going to be inserted in C12, and we don't need a subtitle. Let's get rid of it. Let's add a series for the sales numbers. We'll name it as the product name again, and the values as the inserted values for the regions, and the labels as the region names. You don't see any data right now, as you know, because we haven't previewed the model yet. So our chart is ready. Let's go ahead and put a single value component. In our case, we're using a gauge. So, and we would bind the data field of the gauge to the average insert. So basically this is the average sales of the selected product, which is going to be shown in the gauge. Now I have my model ready, so let's go ahead and preview it and see what happens. So I have my interactive model ready. You see the numbers changing as I click on the products. Now let's take it one step forward ahead and see how can we set alerts to all of these components. So first, let's take a selector component, which is a label-based menu in our case, and let's examine what do we have under the alerts tab. If you observe, all the options here are grayed out because I haven't checked the checkbox which says enable alerts. Once I check the box, everything is available for me to explore or bind it to the data or set alerts. If you observe the label-based menu, if I toggle between check and unchecked of this checkbox, you see a circle which is meant to show the alert color appears and disappears. So that is the indication that the alerts are enabled on a selector component, specifically on the label-based menu. You have a variety of options to choose from. Right now, since label-based menu is only for the labels, you have an option to assign values. What are the values for which you want to set alert? In our case, we're going to set the alert values as the average values for the product sales across all regions. Immediately you see there is a color applied because by default it took it as percentage of target. You can either hard code the target values for each product if you have the target values, and based on the percentage which you set here under the thresholds, the color is applied. In our case, we go by a threshold value. That is, if it's anything from minimum to 50, we have red. 50 to 70 is amber, and 70 and above is green. So in that case, we would select by value and select a range to use and bind it to our threshold values on the spreadsheet. You can also hard code the values here. If I don't select a range, it allows me to hard code the value. However, I prefer using a range because the thresholds might change in the future and you don't want to go ahead and hard code it every time it changes. So if you observe, in this case, we are measuring sales. Sales is a positive metric, so high values are good. Higher the sales, better the metric. However, by default, alerts are set to low values are good. You can always change it to high values are good, and look what happens to the colors. They swap. So red, amber, green. From green, amber, red, it changed to red, amber, green. Now you can either go with the auto colors, which is basic red, amber, green, or you can set your own colors. You can uncheck the box which says enable auto colors and go to individual threshold palette option and select this color you want based on your organization standards. For now, we're going with the basic colors, so I check enable auto colors, which will gray out the option for me to select a color from the palette. So the alerts are set. If you see, all the products have some color based on a target value and the threshold of 50 and 70. Now let's move on to the chart. If we go to the chart, similarly go to alerts, enable alerts. In this case, I would like to give it as a percentage of target, and my target is, I already have the target set here. I'm going to bind it to that. Again, I don't want to use a range because I already selected as a percentage of target. And now I have to switch it back to high values are good, and it's red, amber, green. Go to the gauge, go to alerts, enable alerts. I want to go it by value, use the range. I have the threshold values already set here, so I'm going to map it to that, and high values are good. There you go. And let's preview this model and see what happens. So we have the alerts on all three different kinds of components here. We have the alert single value, which is a gauge, a selected component, and a chart. So if I switch between the products, you see the alerts changing based on the target value, and you see red, amber, green all in the charts on the label based menu and as well as on the gauge. So this is how you can leverage the alert feature or the alert built-in alert property of Xcelsius components. Thanks for watching.